If you've been thinking about making a move to Denver, then you are going to love this video. We're going to go through the top 10 things that you need to know before making a move to Denver. Before we get started, let me introduce myself. I am Warren Bunker with the Bunker team at Keller Williams Advantage, and together with my wife Kelsey, we have helped hundreds of people just like you make their move to or across town around the Denver metro area. And if you are looking to make a move, consider reaching out to us, call, text, email, DM, whatever works for you. This is the most important financial decision you make in your entire life, and we would love to be considered for the honor of helping you do that. All right, now with that being said, let's get into it. The top 10 things that you need to know about living in and around the Denver metro areas. Number one, cost of living is higher here than it is around the country. Sad but true, make of it what you will. There's lots of supply and demand conversations to be had about places like Denver where people want to live and work and play. That means that there's a high demand to live here, and that means that, yes, costs are higher. It does depend by suburbs. There are lots of different areas that you can live that are still closer to a nationwide average, but overall, we are more expensive than the rest of the country. Number two thing that you need to know about living in and around Denver, we actually have more than 300 days of sunshine a year. So if you're from a different area of the country and you think of Denver and you think winter and cold and dark, well, you're wrong. I actually am an avid golfer, and I always like to tell people I can golf in every single month of the year. However, winter can and will surprise you. It sneaks up. Actually, funny enough, less in winter and more in spring. We get all the cold days in the winter, but the snow comes like a flash in the late winter and into the spring. Very often in the city, it melts the next day though, so it's not actually that big of a deal. But it's quick. The weather here, even when it's not at its most extreme, it's bipolar. You'll get all four seasons, not just in a year, sometimes in a day. Number three thing to know about moving to Denver, and that is the altitude. Yes, that is the most on-the-nose thing that I could probably say. You could spend all kinds of time Googling what it's like living at altitude. At a mile above sea level, some things are just different. What most people aren't aware of is how much it can affect little things like sleep, how dry your skin is. Bring lotion, drink lots of water, things like that. It is just a little bit different. I know that I used to go back and forth for summers and then come back here during the school year when it would start up and always get this altitude sickness. Usually you're going to acclimate to it within a week or so, but I would get nauseous and sick anytime I was working out. Again, that dryness will really have an impact on you. The sun can be pretty intense. So it's different than where you're coming from if you're coming from especially somewhere that's at or around sea level. All right, number four thing to know about moving to the Denver metro area, traffic can be a lot. Now, maybe not if you're moving here from New York or LA or one of the biggest kind of traffic bottlenecks in the country, but Denver is up there. We often rank against LA and some areas like that, and part of it is we just don't expand the infrastructure of our highways to keep up with growth. Fact of the matter is, I-25, I-70, the main highways in throughout the city have only grown tiny little bits over the entire time that I've lived here. And there's a lot more people here now than 30 years ago. So commutes are very real. Lots of people are trying to do things like take the light rail and do things of that nature, but you're gonna really wanna plan that out if you're working downtown and thinking about buying in one of these surrounding suburbs. Let's talk about what that commute is going to look like for you and what's acceptable or what's not. In fact, one of my favorite things to do for clients who are looking is I can plan out what it looks like during like a Monday or Tuesday at rush hour and see, is it really worth it to you to have this 45-minute drive? Well, it's up to you. Sometimes we find a house that's perfect and it is worth it. Other times we want to reconsider. So think about your commute. Number five thing to know about living in Denver. So the lifestyle here is all outdoors. Everybody wants to ski, everybody wants to bike and mountain bike and hike and camp and just paddleboard. Everybody loves paddleboarding. Being in and around nature here is huge. You'll find that very large, the vast majority of the population here enjoys outdoors in one way or another. It's funny, I've heard people moving here from other parts of the country that talk about, I was an avid hiker where I'm from, but I always had a hard time getting people to go with me. And then they'd walk around and just ask random people, hey, do you want to go on this hike later? I was thinking about doing this 3-mile hike, 5-mile hike, 10-mile hike through these areas. You will not have a hard time finding people to go with you. In fact, if you're new to Denver when you move here and you want to make friends, just say in any random group, hey, where should I go hiking or biking or whatever, and watch how many people volunteer their opinions and maybe even want to go with you. You got a friend group like that. All right, the number 6 thing to know about moving to the Denver metro area is housing can be very competitive. Now, as we film this, markets around the country are much slower for sellers, and yet we still see houses in our areas going under contract in that first weekend sometimes. Not all the time. Our median days on market currently is more like a month and a half, 45 to 50 days or so. But depending on when you're watching this, could be very, very different. The thing to know is the better looking the house in the more desirable neighborhoods are going to go faster. There's no such thing as just waiting around for it to maybe still be there in a couple weeks or a month. If it's in a desirable neighborhood, it's going to go quickly if it's priced correctly. So be prepared for potential competitive house hunting once you get out here. All right, number 7 thing to know about moving to the Denver metro area is our school system. So by and large, there's great schools in and around all over the place. And I would encourage you, if that's something that's important to you, to look at sites like greaterschools.org or niche.com or things of that kind of fashion that will tell you all the intimate details about the schools, the scoring system. It's kind of based on tests, and being a father of a special needs child, I have my own issues with how they sometimes test those because it doesn't adequately accommodate for special needs children necessarily. But that being said, there's a lot of really great public schools around here. Most of Colorado is on a school choice system where if you are close enough, you're in the same district, you can choice into schools. Now, it's not a guarantee, but they do work hard usually to accommodate, to try to get people in to the schools that they want to be in. Just do some research. If this is something that's a really important factor for you, as I know it has been for me and many other people in their search, make sure you understand the school system that you're going into and the ups and downs related to that. All right, the number 8 thing to know about moving into the Denver metro area is that we have a very unique blend of pretty laid back, right? It's not a super hustle and bustle kind of area. The outdoorsy lifestyle, like I've mentioned, is really prominent with the lifestyle around here. But we do have a pretty growing urban, not just population, but like the idea of living and walking in like downtown Denver, some neighborhoods like Lodo or Rhino, or places where these are older, more established parts of Denver, high density living. It's really growing in popularity. I think downtown Denver for a long time was where a lot of people went to work. Some people lived, and you could go down there to play. There's some really cool hotels, lots of fun things to do. The 16th Street Mall downtown is getting this big revamp and overhaul to try to be a destination for people anymore. Union Station, where the trains kind of meet up at that downtown location, has got some cool spots. And a lot of that had to do with the pandemic. And, we saw just in general that commercial office space dying off. Nobody was going into work anymore. And then even after the pandemic, you didn't have as many people who were going to report into the office. And so a lot of these urban areas just kind of died off. So now Denver, they've reclaimed a building and they've turned it from old office space into apartments or condos. I don't remember exactly which one, but living spaces. I've done actually a video on some of the new condos being developed downtown. So we're transforming from what used to be just kind of a city that was an outdoorsy space, and you came here to be close to skiing and stuff like that, to an actual pretty big thriving metropolis of sorts when you think about what Denver is. So really interesting, kind of cool. You can just see the Denver skyline, if you Google it, over the past 20 years has already changed massively in and of itself. So while still a small market compared to some, very much growing in every way possible. The number 9 thing you're going to want to know about living in the Denver metro area is the incredible blend we have of really old Colorado to brand new stuff. The actual mileage area for the Denver metro, city landscape is, its footprint isn't that large. Part of it is we're geographically limited on the west side with the mountains and foothills, and you're not going to see a whole lot of cities just popping up in those areas, but Denver is right next to that and kind of spreading north, south, and east, certainly. The thing is, these old areas of Denver, we had a lot of these cool old Victorian style homes. Some of the cities we've even talked about in Wheat Ridge and Arvada and Golden and in Lakewood had homes that were initially built in like the early 1900s. Areas that were settled by gold miners and things like that when that was the gold rush was happening. And then you see it build up around there. There's a good chunk of homes around the 30s and 40s, and there's a chunk around the 60s, kind of mid 70s to early 80s, the 90s. You see these homes built at these times of economic growth. And so Denver has a lot of that mixed in, as well as, because we are not such a large footprint, it doesn't take too long to get to some of the newer neighborhoods that are being built up right now. I know I just had some on the south side of town in a new area called Sterling Ranch that 10 years from now might be one of the most popular areas to be in. They've got this really great infrastructure set up there, very family friendly, a lot of activities planned for the area, a lot of great commercial and economic built into their housing development plans. So you get a mixture of all of that in and around the city. Whatever it is that you're looking for, it's really not that hard to find in and around Denver. Just make sure it makes sense for what you want out of the community. All right, and the number 10 thing to know about making your move to the Denver metro area, a lot of people here are very community driven, very friendly and open-minded. Now, you will run into a lot of the natives. I'm sure I'm going to see some in the comments saying Colorado's full, go back to California, that's a popular one, things of that nature. But by and large, the people here are very friendly, really enjoy that Denver has grown so much and has become a hub for people who want to go somewhere where you think about not just working, but how does your work and your life balance? What does your indoor outdoor situation look like at your house, and on the weekends when you're out playing, what do you like to do for hobbies and things like that? Huge sports town, especially the Broncos. Broncos are kings around here, although our championship Nuggets and Avs in recent years have definitely brought out the basketball and hockey fans and a lot of people too. Everybody's got their own kind of unique thing that's going on. I've got neighbors who are into everything from parasailing to bodybuilding to mountain biking, of course. And it's just a super cool place to be with lots of people from lots of different areas and backgrounds. And it's very exciting to see how the Denver area is growing. So be prepared to intermingle and be part of something bigger than yourself. Okay, and that's it. And just keep in mind, whether you're moving across town or across the country in 2 days or 200 days, I'm Warren Bunker with the Bunker team at Keller Williams Advantage, and with my wife and I, Kelsey, we are here to help you. If you like content like this and learning everything that there is to know about the Denver metro area and its surrounding suburbs, hit that like and subscribe button for more content just like this, and we will see you next time.